up? Oh my God, it's been a while since I did a video. I'm Hallie. Welcome to my vlog. This is technically to document my first bikini prep. The last video I did though was my sister Ray and I hiking South Sister here in Bend, and that really had nothing to do with prep except for the fact that I hiked a mountain while in prep and it was a refeed, but I think I just burned through those carbs hiking 5.5 hours and some running. So, but today is a refeed and I wanted to kind of go over how I'm doing my refeeds. This week has been kind of a different week in prep so far. And so I definitely want to talk more about it. But today, since it's a refeed, that means more carbs and that means I get to have some rice. I'm about to make my lunch post-workout meal 2, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna put this together, and then when I sit down to eat, I will kind of go over more details, what the last couple weeks have been, because it's been a while since I've done an update, and just to share more about that. So I'll be back. Okay, so first, let me just say what's in my lunch right now. I have rice, artichoke hearts, some lettuce, a little bit of ground beef, 96%, and a little bit of chicken because I didn't have enough ground beef left. And we had some leftover chicken, so we got like half and half in there. Some coconut oil and a little bit of wasabi and some salt. It's so good. Oh my gosh. So yesterday was 7 weeks out from my show, which is crazy and a little terrifying at the same time. The last time my video was with our hike was about 2 weeks ago. So after that, I had a trip to Washington, which is just like a really short trip for me, with the rest of the Tailored Coaching Method team. There's like 11 of us now. So all of our coaches, our admin, Cody, the owner, and then our media guy, Travis. So really, it's like such a solid group and I love them so much. We're like a family at this point, and it felt so good to be with everybody for a few days. And we all get together twice a year in person so that we can continue to grow how we're coaching people, continue to make sure we're all living up to standards and excelling and on the same page. And so it's just a few days of being like so just in it with everybody. I thought about recording it, but I've made this mistake in the past of thinking about a bunch of other things that I had to do while I was on those trips. So my goal going into it was to be absolutely 100% present, and I accomplished that. So was not on social media as much for those few days. But everyone knows I'm in prep, and Cody, the owner, is also in prep. He's just doing a show like later than I am, but everyone is super supportive. And honestly, to be around a group of people that just really support you and cheer you on and know that you need to be super disciplined, like they can be there for you. And it just felt really good for those few days to be with everybody and to feel just that level of support. So unfortunately though, when I got back, I definitely came down with a little bit of a cold. So I focused on just like recovering, laying low, still doing my check-ins and stuff last week, and hence a break in videos. So let me talk about where I'm at in this prep. Today is technically my 4th refeed day this week. My very first refeeds this whole time was the 2 days around our big hike that Ray and I did a couple weeks ago. I don't know that they really counted because that effort was so big that I think my body just like burned through whatever extra calories I had. But last weekend with my check-in, let me back up. When I got back from my trip, my weight was a lot lower than I thought it would be. I stuck to my plan the whole time I was gone. But my body's just like really responding, I guess. So I was a little bit sick. My weight was kind of low. Checked in with my coach. She gave me 2 refeed days last week with my check-in. And she said to put them on whatever days that I wanted to, as long as they were back to back, which is how I've always done refeeds, and I always recommend doing refeeds. I decided to time them immediately starting the week, Monday and Tuesday, because I wanted the extra calories to support my immune system so I could not be sick for much longer. Aside from being sick, I felt great. Like I was still energized for training. Appetite was still in a good spot. Mindset was in a good spot. It was really just annoying that I had a little bit of a cold. So I wanted to get better quickly, and I wanted to feel like I was back in like 100% prep mode versus like also dealing with being sick. So I did higher carbs on Monday and Tuesday last week, and then hit a low on Wednesday with my weight after like 2 days. And so how my refeeds have been is an increase in carbs, like pretty substantial. Not quite like twice as many carbs as I've been at, but close. A slight decrease in protein and fat, so very slight. So increase in overall calories, mostly carbs, or all carbs. And because I know food so well, and I know like refeeds are meant to give your body back some glycogen and give your body some energy, see how it responds, fill out a little bit. So I really didn't change my meals and like how they're formulated. I just increased some of the carb sources a little bit. I swapped out a little bit of my volume, like vegetables and leafy greens and stuff, for a little bit of rice, and otherwise kept things really, really the same. And that made it really easy to switch to the higher numbers. Also, because I plan out my food for the next day every single evening, or like by the end of the day, I knew exactly what the refeeds were going to look like. I still wanted to pay attention to carbs around my training window, getting in enough fiber, things I digested well, still feeling energized and satiated, and sticking to quality whole foods. So that's what I did. So hit a low on Wednesday, and then another low on Friday. And I had actually, my coach touched base with me during the week, and because my weight has continued to kind of drop, she gave me 2 other refeeds to do this weekend. So today is Sunday. That means it is the 4th refeed of this entire week. Same numbers that I was at for the other refeeds. So that is hence the rice, and it feels good. And weight is still like on the lower end. Like it's not like bouncing back up with more food. So body's responding really well. It's like a science experiment, which is super fun. But that's kind of where we're at. I feel like I'm far ahead for being this far out, but this is good because now we can experiment with how my body responds to refeeds. I've done refeeds in previous cuts, but they've been more around if I have like a special occasion I'm going to, I just give myself a little bit more calories, maybe like 200 calories extra, or if I wanted like a dessert or something like that. But I'm treating them a little bit differently with this prep, in that it's not an excuse to then go have like a treat or indulge or something like that. I'm keeping it really structured, and my oatmeal in the morning has stayed the same. I just increased oats. I added a little bit more berries to what was already there. So my breakfast was essentially the same. Lunch and dinner, I'm adding rice, reducing the vegetables just a little bit. My snack in the afternoon is a little bit more carbs. I'm doing like a small bowl of oatmeal. I just love oatmeal, and some more fruit, instead of like cucumber slices and maybe some like peanut butter, maybe a little bit of chicken or something. My snack in the afternoon is very flexible. And then my yogurt bowl at night has basically stayed the same. I think the raspberries I put in, I increased by like 10 grams. So it looks really, really like small increases, but it's giving me carbs and it's feeling really good. And so if you are tracking macros, if you're doing any sort of like fat loss phase or anything like that with refeeds, this is what I tell my clients, is like treat the refeeds, take them just as seriously as you do the deficit days, because it's not an excuse to like not be intentional or to not plan out your days or to just be like a free for all. They still require being pretty structured because you benefit the most from that. You still get in really good quality foods, you feel better, and you're not experiencing like major weight fluctuations because of that. You actually probably feel better. So I'm going to eat the rest of this, and that was one more thing. I'm going to share some posing that I've done this weekend, which I'm excited about because it's come a long way. There's still work to be done, but I was practicing in my living room kitchen area downstairs yesterday during the day because I wanted to see different lighting, and I wanted to like feel just like more awake doing it instead of first thing in the morning. So this is how posing has been looking right now, and I guess like a physique update. So I will share that next, and then I will touch back in a little bit later today.
Sometimes it burns, sometimes it hurts when you say my name, but thinking of hers, I don't wanna know, don't want you to go and leave me behind.
Okay, it's now Monday. I did not record anything else yesterday because Adam and I have our usual Sunday coffee date where we go get coffee, we like walk around, and I don't ever document that because I feel like it's just our time to chat and be together and brainstorm things, and it's nice to not have our phones out, right? And then he helped me with posing, which I'll get into in a second. And then we just had an easy Sunday evening. So, but I got back from my coach. So I wanted to give a little update. Because of the way my body has been responding to the refeed days last week, we are going to continue kind of the cycle that I ended up doing last week of 3 lower days, lower calorie carb days, and then 2 higher carb days with a slight reduction in protein and fat. So like overall calories go up for those 2 days and from carbs. So we'll continue that. So today is a low day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be lower days this week. Thursday, Friday, I'll bump food up again. And now I have like a whole system. So I'm like, I know exactly what I need to do. And so I'm looking forward to it. I hit a number on the scale this morning that was a previous new low, but now this is like the second time seeing it, so not considered a low again, but woke up feeling pretty good. I just got done with the gym. I am sitting outside of my house. I just got home, but I was thinking about a lot of things at the gym today, and I saw a post last week on Instagram. Someone like put up like what people see on the outside with competing and like the reality of it, and I feel like on the outside it was like leaning out and like nutrition and training and all that. It was like a simple short list. But then on the other side of like what's really happening behind the scenes, it was like a whole long list of things that's very accurate. But I felt like the comparison was painting it almost in like a negative light of like, oh yeah, this is like the realities of prep and competing is like being super dialed in and cooking all your own food and weighing things out and tracking macros and like saying no to things and going to bed early and like all these things that like, yeah, I think it's important to understand the reality of it, but and like doing extra cardio and like all those things. I don't see a lot of those things as negative. And I think that's partly why I feel so drawn to this sport that I'm getting into, because so much of the lifestyle of it I was already doing and I would be doing anyway. And I love the structure of my nutrition and training, and now it's just like even more dialed in. I love seeing what the body can do, and now it's like taking it to a little bit more of an extreme, right? And now it's just like with this end goal that I feel like has been really like exciting and motivating, and I've never worked towards like a date like this of like having a show, like that experience of you have to be ready by this time and like that deadline. And so that's been really cool. It's also terrifying, but I have been around Adam, who does triathlons. He started doing triathlons a couple years before we met, and we've been together for 7 years. And so I've been going to his races since the kind of the first summer that we started dating, but more like the next summer when we were actually more like together. And so we're used to having like our lifestyle around being dialed in and having structure and doing things on the weekend that are in line with our training and our goals. Like we've been doing that anyway because I like it personally. And he has his goals throughout the year. They don't change. Even in his like quote off season, he's still building his base period back up, and he has his training just looks different, but it's still with this overall goal. So we don't change things throughout the year. And I've been, going to his races, and we have these dates throughout the year that we're getting ready for. And so now to have that for me, it's been really exciting, and to have him be alongside with me, it just feels so good. So that leads me to the main thing that I was thinking about at the gym today, and I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, because I wanted to share more of like the depths of prep that I've gotten to at this point, which I have a little less than 7 weeks. So it's going to continue to change and evolve. And I'm sure there's going to be some things that are challenging that I haven't had come up yet, right? A lot of people will talk about like being really hungry or food focused or feeling really low energy, brain fog, like all of these things. And I haven't had that. Like, yes, I've had more hunger, maybe a little bit more fatigue on some days too, but the hunger is part of dieting anyway. And so I've done that before. And the reality is I've had my calories lower in previous cuts than I've had at this point yet. And now with like the refeeds throughout the week, like average calories are higher than I've had it in a cut in the past. So I know I can handle hunger. I know it's a physical sign that's going to come up. And a lot of it is how you structure your meals, the food choices you select, your sleep, stress management, activity levels, and also your mindset around hunger and just knowing that it's a part of it. I haven't had brain fog. I've been even more focused with work. I have made it a very strong point in my own self to know that this is my own goal and no one's forcing me to do this. And so I'm in charge of my attitude and the mood that I have every day. And I'm choosing actively to show up each day with a good attitude. And part of that is just like innate to me. Like that's just how my personality is. I tend to be more positive and forward thinking and not like easily just like overwhelmed or get into a negative slump or anything. But I've also gone into this thinking like, well, it doesn't have to get to that point with this prep either, even though I'm doing something that's really hard and it's unknown territory and it's going to get harder. I can still choose to be a good person. I can still choose to have a good mood and attitude and everything, right? So that's been a big one. And so some small things I wanted to share of the realities that I've had so far. As I've gotten a lot smaller, certain areas of my body that I've leaned out, I feel like just look kind of funny. Like my breastbone is like very prominent and I don't like that look, but it's like, oh, that's just what it is, right? And like already had, not much going on. Now there's less going on. Legs are feeling really small. I wasn't too surprised, but I know I don't have as much muscle as I maybe like previously thought I did. And that will build in the future. That's not anything I'm going to change now. I have really been like so proud of seeing my body change, even though I don't want to be this small ever in the future. Like I want to have more muscle in the future. So that's been a reality. Like sitting in like a harder chair can be uncomfortable, but it's more like when I then move to like get out of the chair, I'm like, oh my God, it hurts. Like you're like a little bit more bony. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of funny. But the biggest thing that I've noticed that's, I think, been the more challenging part for me right now lately is the different levels of support you get in your life. And I say this from a place of knowing, like, not everyone's going to support you. Not everyone's going to understand. And you have to know what level people are at to know who to lean on. And that's what you have control over, right? Because you can't force people to be excited for you or to understand what's going on. Part of my job of letting some people in my life know what I'm doing is that they might not have any idea of what this entails. So it's my job to inform them and ask for their support or be thankful for any support they give me. And then that's enough. Adam is my number one. Like I have so much appreciation for him because he has continued to celebrate with me like every bit of progress that I make. And still, like, we definitely have just a really solid bond and like relationship and chemistry, and that hasn't changed. And I think we are both very much attracted to each other because we do hard things. We set goals for ourselves. We are showing up as individuals with our own independent goals, and then that like bonds us even deeper. He also then will treat me like an athlete too, and will keep me accountable and will be objective. So yesterday I asked him if like he was free to help me with posing. And so I put on my posing suit, I put on my heels, I was in our living room kitchen area, and he was standing there. He was like helping me, like, okay, position this here, do this here, okay, like practice your vacuum with your stomach, like do this here, okay, tighten it up here. And like it was like nitpicky, but it wasn't in a mean way. It was super objective. And he's been then like looking up bikini pros and stuff to like get a better sense of what he should be looking for when he's then looking at me and my posing to help me out. That support it feels so good, and it's been so great. There are some people in my life that are supportive to a certain extent, and part of it is not really knowing much about it. My parents are watching this, so to my dad and my stepmom and my mom who are watching my videos, thank you so much. And I know that this is something that you have zero idea what's involved, and that's okay. The fact that you can still be excited for me, still ask about it, watch these videos, and cheer me on, like that's really all I need and I'm asking for, and that alone feels really good. And just like asking questions and being curious, like that feels really good. All of the coaches that I work for, when I was with them last week, the fact that they were like so excited for me, that feels really good. And then there's gonna be people that I will let them know and they'll be like, that's cool. Like they like don't ask more questions. They're not necessarily like going out of the way to be supportive, or there's stuff going on in their world that might, I think it might then look at me doing something like this is so voluntary, and it's an aesthetic focus, right? And not everyone's going to get it, or there's going to be some comparison, or when I'm feeling like things are going really well, it's not too, like, I don't want to like talk about it much because I don't want it to feel like it's like rubbing it into people that might be going through something hard or facing their own challenges. And so I think something that I have learned coaching a lot of my clients for years now is that you can be going on your own journey and be excited for people going on their journey. And maybe you're at a sticking point. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're not seeing the changes, or you're really uncomfortable and you're not seeing the progress that you're looking for. That doesn't mean it needs to take away from people around you that are doing awesome things, or they are seeing progress, or they are like wanting to celebrate what they're doing. And I think that coaching has shown me so much of that. Like there's capacity to have all of those things. You can be excited for people, and it has nothing to do with you, right? And so I've noticed a little bit of that. And I've also noticed like some people will just downright not support you, and that's also okay. I come back to the fact that this is my goal, and setting that goal or sharing that goal with people means some people won't understand it. Some people will actively be against it. It doesn't change me doing this goal for myself, and it doesn't change my excitement about it. I don't have any doubts about it because of other people's opinions. It, if anything, allows me to know where I need to set boundaries with how much I talk about it with people. And as things continue to get harder, I'm seeing more and more, okay, who are the people that I'll be able to lean on when I need to lean on somebody? Who's going to support me unconditionally and be able to maybe set aside their stuff so they can actually like be there for me, because I don't ask for help that often. I'm usually the one that's helping other people as a coach. So just a thoughts brain dump. I think I'm going to end the video here because that's probably more talking than I need to do. I'm going to share posing, more physique update stuff. I am technically less than 7 weeks, which is crazy. I am doing it. I'm excited. I'm nervous, terrified, all the things. Feeling really good. I'm always grateful for how my body is responding and surprising me. And I told my coach in my check-in this week, I've let go of all expectations because this bod of mine continues to show up and surprise me and respond to the things that I'm asking it to do. And it just feels good to be like one with yourself. So on that note, I definitely need to go shower and then make some food. And since it's a lower day, my lunch, yesterday I shared my lunch was like protein and rice and veggies and stuff. And today it's going to be protein and veggies and potatoes instead of rice. So just like one ingredient different. That's how easy it is. Would love to know anything that you guys want me to share more of. I am excited to share more of posing and like physique update stuff, and all good vibes here, please. All the support, it means a lot, and I'm excited to still be on this journey.
Oh, baby. You can't stand it no more.